Thank you so much for staying with Newzroom Afrika and making it your channel of choice as we reflect on National Police Commissioner Fannie Masemola's testimony over the last 48 hours. Now, something that he mentioned yesterday was quite alarming, that being on Monday. He spoke about an investigation that was being conducted by the Gauteng Crime Intelligence Operation and how members of that team were told that there are 3 envelopes that are awaiting them to drop the case involving some of those in the criminal underworld. And he said that at least 2 of those envelopes were waiting for prosecutors and magistrates. Here's how he put that story to us.
When you talk about allegations of bribery involving magistrates, and perhaps let me just stop there and deal with that one. As I understand, these are only allegations at this stage, but those are still being investigated and looked into. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is allegations that were made specifically in this case, where I'm aware that the 2 investigators, at some point, they were told by one of the seniors that there is 3 envelopes ready, and that one envelope is for the 2 of them, the other envelope is for the prosecutor, and the 3rd envelope is for the magistrate. So that is, of course, allegation. From my side, it's a hearsay, but I'm sure General Khumalo could talk more on that. But it's still under investigation.
Let's chat now to the president of the Association of Regional Magistrates of Southern Africa. That's Ian Cox. This is an association that accommodates around 90% of magistrates in South Africa. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Cox. I mean, what have you noted about Masemola's testimony, in particular that bite that we just played you, insofar as the bribing of magistrates? Is this something that you're aware of? Is there a pattern that you've now picked up as an association?
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to all the viewers. Zianda, as far as the allegations by General Masemola is concerned, it is obviously alarming. And I think when it falls on the ear of the general public, obviously they will find it hair-raising. But I wish to refer you to a report that was released in 2020 by Judges Matters that really looks over our shoulders and supports us in many ways. And in the report, there was, for example, 213 complaints that they investigated over a certain period of time. And none of those related to bribery and corruption. I know that there may be one disciplinary ongoing at this moment, which involves a senior regional court official. But there is only 24% of those 213 cases resulted in the Magistrates Commission, who is the disciplinary body of magistrates, in actually taking the magistrates to task. If you work it out down to percentage, then it is only 1.5% of all magistrates that were taken to task in respect of certain misconduct which resulted in criminal offences. But as far as bribery and corruption is concerned, it is, as Masemola said, it's always allegations, and perceived rumors, you know, but we have not seen anything substantial.
And I suppose the difficulty with that is we're dealing with envelopes, right, which means cash is king in this instance. So proving that would be that much more difficult, isn't it?
No, definitely. But I know that especially where the NPA, for example, is involved, they have their own investigative unit. And when there are allegations of bribery and or corruption, they would investigate on their own. And after they have done the investigation, they would generally set a trap if obviously they have confirmed the allegations, they would set a trap for the individual. And so that happens. But in the magistracy, also we don't have that. But fact is that generally also the anti-corruption unit of the police are involved, and they have cameras, which they're hidden cameras, and so forth, So there are ways and means to actually catch the perpetrator if there is someone like that.
Another comment I think that has been made, and I guess resonates with South Africans, is how people feel that they're always failed within the criminal justice system at a magistrate level, in particular when it comes to the granting of bail. Now, we know that bail is not meant to be a punitive measure, but when you listen to the testimony of how Michael Paul Dawu was released on bail, and that is a senior police officer who was allegedly involved in the murder of Aman Swart, and this, of course, with whistleblowers always being at risk in the country. This allegation is hair-raising, as you say, but also scary when you look at the administration of justice, no?
Yes, I agree with you, but the bail applications are governed by the Criminal Procedure Act, Section 60 to be more specific. And when you bring a bail application, there are also different schedules. You have, for example, a Schedule 1 offense, you have a Schedule 5 listed offense, or a Schedule 6 listed offense. So depending on in which category the alleged offense falls, then the burden of proof is heavier or lighter upon the state. And remember, it is a discretionary duty of each and every presiding officer that hears bail applications. And as soon as a serious case, and I find it often in my court, a case gets blown up in the media for some reason, say they've caught this big fraudster for millions and billions rands of fraud. And when it comes to court, you realize the case is not strong, it's not been properly investigated, they don't have proper witnesses, for example, and so forth. So one cannot have a blanket approach to say that, we fail the public as far as bail applications are concerned. There are so many factors that we take into account, and they are listed in the Criminal Procedure Act, and we also, consider other relevant aspects that we deem fit. But as you also correctly said, the fact is that bail is not, or to grant or refuse bail is not a tool of punishment for a perpetrator or alleged perpetrator so long he remains innocent until proven guilty.
All right, Ian Cox, the president of the Association of Regional Magistrates of Southern Africa, thank you for your time tonight on those allegations of bribery against magistrates and prosecutors.